Hey everybody, can you hear me? I'm doing something a little bit different today, so I'm a little bit nervous that it's not going to be right. So let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay. All right. Okay. Hello, everybody. So I am trying something a little bit different. This is called StreamYard. So some of you, if you're used to seeing YouTubers on, you might have actually seen this before, because a lot of YouTubers use this to show their screen. So I'm trying it a little bit different so that I can show you my screen and I can show you kind of who I would cast in each of these parts. So, there may be some technical difficulties today, so we will just have to play it by ear and we will have to see. Also, I do have a giveaway today for the last copy that I have right now of Beautiful Demons in paperback. I am also going to be giving away a $25 Amazon gift card. As long as you can accept gift cards here in the United States, you can win. The Beautiful Demons paperback is international, so no matter where you are. I know that I was able to, I think our last winner was from the UK, and I was able to send her a gift card in the UK as well, so that was fine. But I don't know if you're like in Australia, if I'll be able to send you a gift card or not, so we'll have to wait and see. So, yeah, I don't know anything about chat issues. Supposedly there's also a way that I can pull people's comments on to the screen, but I have no idea. We can try it. Yes, Caine uses it in the word sprints. That's how I found out about it. Let's see. So we'll just pull a comment up. Did that work? So apparently I can pull comments up. So if you comment, I can put them up on the screen, which is kind of cool. I don't know how to take it then off the screen. Oh, there we go. So this is a brand new thing for me. I have never used it before, but that's really kind of neat. So I will hopefully be able to pull some comments. Now, I am going to be sharing my screen to show you guys who I think I would cast or who you recommended that I cast as these characters from The Witch's Key. But this webcam that I'm using now, I don't have two screens. I just have the one screen. So I might be kind of going back and forth a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. And yes, we can have guest appearances because technically you can pull other people in and you can bring comments up on the screen so that later when people are watching the replay, they can actually see the comments, which is kind of cool. So you guys might see me going back and forth a little bit. So just bear with me as a first-time user of StreamYard, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you guys had a great week. We were having a very good week. We have been having a very good week, but Evie did not sleep hardly at all last night. Like we're talking, I think I finally got to sleep around 6 a.m. and my alarm went off at 7:20. So I have not had much sleep. George has had a headache all day. And then I had to take Evie in this morning to get her immunizations, her vaccines. So she had 5 shots this morning and she is super fussy. So you might not see much of George today either. So y'all, it has been a day. We'll just put that there. On a good note, however, I did get this office clean. Now, you guys always see it looking pretty clean, but if you saw my Instagram stories, I actually had a lot of mess on this side of the desk. And so I've been cleaning that up, which is really, really nice to finally get that done. But not quite finished there. So I'm looking forward to the weekend. I have already started edits for The Witch's Key. I'm hoping to be able to send that to my beta readers coming up in the next couple of days, because this book is coming out on May 19th. So if you have not yet pre-ordered, I would love for you to go ahead and grab a copy of it. Yes, the one on Facebook, that is, I posted a picture of that because I think so often when we see people on YouTube or social media, it's like, oh, look, everything's so nice and organized. Look at all the colors and everything's perfect. But in truth, a lot of us actually have messes that you just can't see, because it is difficult to do it all. So I think often it's good to just show the truth of how your space looks, your desk or your, your office or whatever, because I think that it's important for people to know that no one is perfect, and nobody like keeps a clean house and writes 70,000 words in a month and like gets all the sleep they need and does everything that they're supposed to do. It's just like, that does not really happen. So real life is, when I'm finishing a book, there's always mess everywhere. So, I have now gotten a lot of that cleaned up. So that is awesome. So thank you so much to those of you who put suggestions for who you think the cast would be. It's really kind of a funny thing. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about characters and what happens when I, kind of put characters into the books, and I'm thinking about what these people look like. So for me, I don't know if I want to say I'm not a visual writer, because I hope that I give you an image in your mind when you're reading the book or when you're listening to the book. However, I am not a very descriptive writer, and this is just my style of writing. If, like we've talked before about like Robert Jordan, and he writes The Wheel of Time. This is epic fantasy series. And if you read that series, man, you will get every tiny little teeny tiny detail of what the carving on the chair looks like, and the thread of gold that goes through someone's cloak, or you get every tiny little description. With my writing, George was comparing it more to like Orson Scott Card, who wrote Ender's Game, which is one of our favorite books. And that is, it's like Nynaeve, our daughter, Evie, is named after Robert Jordan's books. And Andrew is our Ender. He was named after the main character in Ender's Game. And Orson Scott Card's description is more like mine. Like, you can see it happen in your mind, but if you go back and you actually read what I wrote, sometimes the most I say about someone is that they have brown hair, and I will give you an idea of the type of person they are. But I like to not go super descriptive, because I think in my style of writing, it can be a little bit distracting, or it can pull you out of the story if I actually describe like every little thing. I think that I read Ender's Game on the screen. Some books, some authors really describe a lot of things, and some scenes call for more description. But for me, I personally just don't put a ton of description. So I'd love for you as the reader to pull that character out of your mind. But sometimes, because I don't harp on it, people will see the same character in very, very different ways, which is actually kind of interesting. And just as a funny story, this is not a spoiler, but you in the Shadow Demon saga, you will eventually get to see what's called the Shadow World, which is a fantasy world. It's a separate world. In that series, you don't actually get to see the Shadow World until later in the series. But when you do get to see it as like from the reader's mind, I was so nervous about describing it, because I didn't want to have to get super descriptive, but I wanted to give enough information that readers could see it for themselves in their mind. And so when that book came out, I won't say which one it is, but when that book came out, I was so nervous that people would be like, I have no idea what the shadow world looks like, or the shadow world looks just like the regular human world, which in fact, in my mind, it's very, very different from the human world. And I was so nervous. And one of the very first reviews that I got for that book was, oh my gosh, I can see the shadow world so clearly in my mind. And I started crying because it was like, oh, thank God, like I did enough for you to picture it. I thought that was so funny. So I can actually pull this comment up here. Nicola says, I always picture Harper with long, dark hair. So that's really funny. And that's kind of one of those things. It's like, I think that once you see a character in your mind, even if you read something that's a little bit different than that, you still see them the way that you originally imagined them. So that's why I thought was kind of funny, because especially when it comes to like Kai, a lot of people saw him very different than the way I see him. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, Harper, if you ever get a chance to read my Shadow Demon saga, Harper has blonde hair and almost like white blonde hair. So she does not have long, dark hair at all. So it's one of those kind of things, like, because I don't describe characters really in detail, I think a lot of people do see the characters very different. So George actually did this and sent me an email real quick where he went into the book and pulled out some of the description that I had of the character. And I don't even think he made it necessarily all the way through. And some of the characters there's very, very slim description of them. And we are going to go through, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you some of these are descriptions or actors that some of you suggested. Some of them are my own. When I am like, I have a really good friend named Zoe that every time she starts a book, she does an entire Pinterest board. She makes teasers. She like knows, she can't write a character until she knows exactly what actor would play them in a movie. And she spends a lot of time. It's just part of her process, like needing to know. She writes romance. So every book she writes has a different hero and a different heroine. So she will do that for every single one. However, I don't ever think, unless somebody just came to mind that was like, oh, okay, this person would be great. Like for me, for example, I did have a Jackson in mind. Also, when I was writing Leah, who is in the Shadow Demon saga later on in the series, I could easily see the actress that would play her. And every time I saw her on the screen, I could definitely see that character, that actress playing Leah. But with this particular book, The Witch's Key, I didn't have any actors or actresses in mind. So there was nobody that I was like, oh, that person has to play her in a movie. These days, well, we'll have to, when we do a Shadow Demons read along kind of book club later this summer, I'll tell you guys who I have always seen as those characters. And I think that I definitely have some suggestion of who would play some of my Shadow Demons characters. So that would be kind of a fun thing to do this summer when we get into the next side. Ruby Rose as Leah. Yeah, I mean, you have to think I started this series back in 2010. So it would have to be somebody who was around back then. So yeah, so I am going to, I was trying to pull on my necklace, but I took it off because Evie was pulling on it. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and let's just go through and kind of talk about it. I do, like I said, I have one more Beautiful Demons paperback to give away, and I have not mailed any of these out yet. So I'll be mailing all 5 of the books that I've given away out. Probably the beginning of next week. Then I also am going to give away a $25 Amazon gift card. Now, I've got a few other giveaways that I want to do for like the Bellish Challenge and Sir Bean and the Moondust Cupcakes, but I didn't have a chance to go into social media and write down like all the people that had done it. So I'm going to do those giveaways on the social media posts. So like if you posted a hashtag Bellish Challenge, I'm going to look at all of them, and I'm just going to pick one. So I will comment on your post if you won. So there we go. All right, let's see how this goes. Hopefully it's going to work out. I have already kind of gotten it ready, so we'll see if it looks right. All right, so I am looking at the Witch's Key cast. Let me know if you can see this. I actually don't have a second screen, but I have a laptop here so I can kind of see what you guys see and I can see your comments as we go. All right, so here we go. All right, so the first character, I'm going to go kind of by like less important to more important, is Asher. So Asher, I don't really describe Asher very much except that he's young, and he does actually, I believe that I tell you guys he has longer hair. George did not get around to it. So I didn't have a chance even to go back and see. But somebody mentioned Stephen McQueen, and I think he would actually make a really good Asher. So like I said, like Nilda, you might have been the one in the group that said that because some of these you'll see I have pulled from your suggestions, and I didn't have any preconceived thoughts of who would play. So, sometimes it's going to be something you picked. Sometimes it'll be something I picked. Now, this was one from the group, one that I thought was Craig Horner. This guy I could definitely see as being from being Asher. I think with his darker hair, I think he really matches, or with the longer hair, I think he could really match Asher. Also, I really do feel like Asher is going to play a bigger role in the series as we move. And we'll just have to see what comes up when we move on to the next part. I want to see Asher with Lenny. Yeah, so you might see, it might be kind of interesting to do a romance of Asher with someone else. So we'll have to kind of see later on. So now we're going to move on. So we're going to move through the Slayers first. So Gowen, and some of these pictures are going to be a little bit blurry because I literally just grabbed them from like Google Images, and hopefully I'm not going to get in any trouble or have to pull this down because I do not claim that I own any of these images at all. And actually, I think if I go back to StreamYard, if I can find it, I can actually pull myself up on the screen at the same time. Dun, 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 dun. Nope, I don't want to do it quite like that. Let's see. Here we go. So then you guys can see me and this at the same time. And if you hate that, let me know. All right, so we've got George Clooney as maybe as a Gowen. Like, I couldn't do the accent myself, but I definitely could see Gowen as a guy with an Irish accent and that salt and pepper kind of hair. So I think that might be kind of a cool, casting is George Clooney. But I also, sorry, I went too fast. Also, I did have another idea for Gowen. Let me see if I wrote it down. Maybe James Brolin. He's too old for me. Like, I really feel like I feel like Gowen is that kind of Slayer who is older, but also kind of good looking and strong, So I definitely feel like that could be it. So Nilda, when it comes to TV and stuff, they can make people look all different kinds of ways. Josh Brolin for me would be like if I wanted him to be an old guy. And when I started kind of thinking, would I really want to portray him as like an older man like that? And then I thought, no. So I think definitely George Clooney. Ooh, Ewan McGregor. I have to say, I love Ewan McGregor. Like, he's one of my favorite actors of all time. So yeah, I didn't even think about him. He might be kind of good. So, yeah, definitely some different ones. Liam Neeson could play him too. I did actually think about Liam Neeson for Uncle Martin. It's like, could he play that kind of role? I think maybe he could. Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys that could play this. And I think that, you have to kind of, when you're doing a casting like this, you have to just kind of play with the numbers because, yeah, somebody might be too old, somebody might be older than you think. You have to just kind of play with it. So, Gianna, I absolutely love this actress, and I always am like, how do you say her last name? So Laura Prepon or Laura, I guess Prepon is maybe how you say it. And actually, so she's in Orange is the New Black. And in Orange is the New Black, she has dark hair. And she has glasses similar to mine. And I actually have had people say to me, like on 5 separate occasions when I have gone out, that I look like her. They're like, oh my gosh, you look like the actress from Orange is the New Black. And I'm like, oh my gosh. That's such a compliment because she's so beautiful. I don't know that I actually look like her. I think it's just because I had hair and glasses that kind of was her style for a while. But I think that she would make a great Gianna. Is she really old enough for Gianna? Maybe not. But again, I do state in the series, of course, that you kind of have this disconnect. Like Gowen might only look like he's, 60 years old or in his late 50s, but he's actually like 150 something. So it's like, you have to kind of play with the numbers when you're playing fantasy. But this is kind of how I see Gianna, maybe a little older than Laura, but around that. So with Britta, I definitely see her as a feisty kind of short. Oh, I forgot to read these that George pulled out for me. Let me see if I can find them. So Gianna just says a tall woman with long red hair. And that's literally all I say about her. I don't know that he gave me Britta. I don't think he looked her up unless nope. So he didn't give me Britta, but I know that I don't specifically say pixie cut, but it's like short, dark hair. And I see her definitely as like feisty and a short kind of petite woman. And so I think Natalie Portman would really play her well. Again, I kind of see Britta maybe as being a little older than Natalie Portman, but we're going to fudge the numbers a little bit. So what about Darius? This, for me, is the only character that when I had him in my mind, this was the actor 100%. This is literally the only character in the entire show so far that when I was writing him, this has to be, it just has to be. So this is Darius for sure. And I describe him basically like Idris Elba because this is who he was. And I don't know if George even put this on here. He was doing this very quickly, you guys, for me. So yeah, it's not on here either. But I know that I describe him as like, he's got that jet black hair that's shaved close with a little bit of salt and pepper and, the beard. And so this is definitely the character. Yeah, you ran out of time. It's fine, baby. You did a great job. But if this ever gets made into a TV show, I don't know how much we'd have to pay him to come and actually be in our show, but let's see if we can make it happen. All right. So Julie Peterson, I could see her as Terry Hatcher. Again, Julie Peterson Terry Hatcher might be a little bit too old. So I might be a little bit kind of like a little bit off on the ages here, but we do the best we can when we're casting. This is why I'm not a casting person. Sylvia says he may volunteer. I don't know about that, but we'll see. Maybe he would be a fan of the broadcast. We'll see. So Terry Hatcher, I could see her like she is definitely described. Julie Peterson is described as a tall, thin woman with the kind of energy that seems to fill up the entire room. And I could just see Terry Hatcher being that person. And I could also see her as an actress, as someone who could show that sort of, is she evil or is she not evil? Like in Desperate Housewives, she really kind of pulls that. So I think that could be kind of a fun thing. So she's a tall, thin woman, but I don't ever really talk about her hair color too much. So that's part of the kind of thing that I'm a lot of that sometimes I will layer in when I'm writing the edits is I'll think, okay, did I give enough description of them? Should I add more in? And I obviously haven't done edits yet. So we'll see. Maybe some of these will change. Plus, when we talk about hair color, Terry Hatcher can go blonde just as easily as she can go dark. So if we see Julie as blonde, we could convince Terry Hatcher to add a little bit of blonde to her hair. So when it comes to Olive, I didn't have anything specific in mind, no actress specific in mind. But I could see Olive in my mind being maybe just a little bit more awkward than some of the other girls, but still pretty. So Landry Bender, I don't even know what she's from, but somebody mentioned her. Nilda, was that you? You'll have to let me know if that was you too, because somebody mentioned her in the comments of the group, and I thought, oh yeah, she really matches. I think she could really match. So Olive Peterson, the only description that I really give of her is when we first meet her. And the only way I describe her is a girl with long brown hair that she's wearing high and a ponytail. So, so she's got brown hair similar to Lenny. And I think this girl actually looks a good part. Just imagine her with her hair up. Could work. But yes, Sylvia, Google her. Tell me what she's from, because I am not sure at all what she's from. So, Brandy. This one, several people mentioned this has to be the actress that plays Brandy. And I absolutely think Sky Jackson would make the perfect Brandy. This is not exactly like I saw her. Maybe Sky Jackson is like a little bit more like pretty, more beautiful. But I could totally see her. If we could get her in for our Brandy, I think she would own it. And I think she would also do a really good job as someone that you're kind of like at the end, like, oh my gosh. Plus, I think it would be kind of funny because Sky Jackson is so beautiful. It would be kind of funny to see Peyton at the end of this be like, oh, you're so plain or whatever. It's like, what? But kind of wanting to be even more beautiful. I think she could play that role very, very well. So when I describe Brandy, the first time I describe her is I say her jet black hair hung in tight curls around her face, and there was a smile in her dark eyes. And I don't actually give her skin color right from the beginning, but later when she's crying, because I think it's when Peyton first disappears, I talk about her dark skin. But I think that several people didn't even understand that she was a brown skinned girl, that they were just seeing her as maybe like a little bit darker skin, which is fine too. And this is part of where the description kind of comes in for me, is like, how much is too much? How much, should you pull out? How much should you add to it? Because I would probably add more to these character descriptions when I go through the edits. So it's kind of interesting for me to hear like people seeing, like, when in the group, especially somebody put like, I think a blonde girl for Brandy. And I was like, what? But that, it's like, that's the funny thing when you have an author that doesn't give a lot of description, is you will end up having a lot of people that don't look the way that you think they would. Yes, she was on Jessie. That's how I know her anyway. And she is so sassy in that show, and she makes me laugh. So let's see who's next. Peyton. Okay, so I have two Peytons, and these were both suggestions in the group. And I was not familiar with either one of these actresses too much, but I definitely like both of them. So Lily Reinhart, I think that she's in Rivervale. Am I right about that? Is she in Rivervale? Let me know in the comments. Yes. Okay. Gemma knows. So I have seen a little bit of Rivervale, but I want to watch more of it. So I think, Jennifer Rux, that was her suggestion. I definitely think she would make an amazing Peyton. I absolutely love this actress look. Like, I think she could definitely pull off the Peyton look. But somebody also mentioned Lily Rose Depp. Now, a different look to her for sure. Like, their faces are very different, but I think the aesthetic is very similar. So yeah, I think that she could be really good too. LMG Miller said, I kept picturing a peppy Veronica Mars or young Kristen Bell for Peyton. Yeah, I could see that too, but I think in my head, I see Peyton, I wish I could describe it, more like chiseled features in a way. And so I think Lily Rose Depp really kind of works well. Yeah, it could work. Carol thinks Lily Reinhart looks too old, but she actually does play this same exact age character in another show. So I think they both could work. All right, Bates. So obviously we've got Bates here. Actually, let me see if I can go back and see if we talked about Peyton. So just to give my description of Peyton, Peyton says the petite blonde is basically all I describe Peyton as, is the petite blonde. So here we go. This is my description of these characters. That's most of what I give her. I also do say that she and Lenny are like wearing the same clothes or whatever. But again, Adam Driver, I totally feel like he could play Bates. Like, yes, he is also Star Wars. We all know him as Kylo Ren. But I think he could do a good Bates. But George was like, okay, if he ends up signing on and is playing Bates, then he's going to have to take on a bigger role, I think. So, yeah, he's a pretty huge actor. If you don't know who he is from Star Wars. He was also in the show Girls on HBO. That's the first place I knew him. And he's such a different character. In Star Wars, he's Kylo Ren. He's like, you know, the main character, kind of like a Darth Vader type, you know, guy. But in Girls, he is like a total, like, I don't know, crazy guy or whatever. La Chantal Cherie said, I saw Bates as a skeevy old dude. Yeah, I mean, he definitely is kind of skeevy, I guess, because he's got all these girls around him, but definitely I see him as a skinny, younger guy, not high school age, but, you know, more like kind of Blythe's age, but younger. I describe him as tall and lanky with dark chin-length hair that he kept brushing out of his eyes. He wore a pair of ripped jeans, a Rolling Stone t-shirt, and no shoes. And so this is totally how I see him. Yeah. So Kara says she saw Bates as being older. I saw Bates as being like in his upper 20s to 30s or so. But when you know that so you've got Blythe Greer. Obviously, we're going to go into her next. She is, she's Bates's sister, but she's his older sister. Plus, she's a keeper. So she looks younger than she actually is. Now, with Bates, that makes his age in the book, if you're trying to figure it out, kind of up in the air, because he could be older like her, or he could be younger. So it's, you know, it's kind of like, how do we want to see him? And some of this stuff might come back in edits a little bit more, but I kind of see him as being like maybe early 30s at the most. So to me, that's what I see. It's funny that so many people saw him as being creepy and older. Yeah, I'll have to play around with that description then, because I definitely didn't see him as being that much older than them. Maybe 10 or 15 years older. All right, so I have several. So for the next few characters, I have several choices. So Blythe Greer, some of these are from the group and some of these are my suggestions. So someone suggested Eva Green. I do not remember what she is from, but I know I've seen her in several things. And I think she would make a perfect Blythe Greer. So my description of Blythe Greer is literally icy blue eyes. That is pretty much all I say about her, except I think I do say she has dark hair later, but it's like, I barely describe her. A woman wearing a perfectly tailored black pencil skirt and matching jacket, and she has icy blue eyes. And I think later on, that's what George pulled from the first time we see her. But I think later I do kind of describe her a little bit more with her hair and things like that. Oh, she may have been in Twilight. I cannot remember. James Bond, Casino Royale. Pencil skirt, which George always loves. Yeah, I don't know if I see Blythe Greer as being stuck up as much as I see her. Yeah, stuck up might not be a bad way. Yes, I think she might be in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Claire Holt, I'm not sure who that is. Penny Dreadful, I haven't seen that before. Yeah, and see Blythe, Nicholas said, I see Blythe older. I do think that Blythe probably should be older, but I don't know. I think I'm going to play with that some in edits of like, should she be older or should she not be older? And I'm just not 100% certain. She was her parents' keeper for a long time, but even though keepers and slayers can be older, they often look younger. So it's kind of like, how do I want to do it? I don't know. Could be older, could be younger. I think we could play with it. If she was going to be older, we could go Lena Headey. And I know I'm probably saying her name right. Is it Headey? I don't know. But this was another suggestion from the group. Maybe Nilda, I might be pulling a lot of your suggestions because they were so thoughtful. But obviously, Game of Thrones, I would want her to probably have her longer hair, not this this maybe is more like Britta's haircut, but Blythe I would see having longer hair. Now Emma Thompson I think would be a little too old. I don't know. Maybe Lena is a better fit for Blythe. It kind of depends, but I think you could have Lena as Blythe and then have Adam Driver as her like rebellious younger brother. Maybe. Could it happen? Emma Thompson, I think, could work. Yeah. She could work too, but I think she might just be a little bit too old. It depends how we would want to go. If this actually got a movie deal or a TV deal, which hey, come on, universe, bring it on. Let's do it. But I think that there would be a lot of discussion about what ages are these people. I don't even know. We'd have to kind of see. Is it bad to say I don't like her because of her character in Game of Thrones? Emmy, I love that. No, it's not bad to say that because even though she is gorgeous in that, man, whew, yes. Yeah, I think maybe Lena could work well for Blythe Greer. I do have another suggestion too, which is Olivia Wilde. So if we went younger with her, I definitely could see Olivia Wilde. George is like Olivia Munn because he loves Olivia Munn in everything. But I think with the icy blue eyes, I think that Olivia Wilde could work for this character too. But again, she is definitely younger. So, I mean, younger, like mid-30s, I think. How old is Olivia Wilde? So yeah, I don't know. Jennifer Garner could work too for Blythe, but I don't know. I think there's some really good. I think this is a character we could play with. I think I specifically picked this picture of Olivia because I think she looks very witchy in this. And I think that she could be someone with that look and that steely gaze of being like, oh my gosh, yeah, heads are going to roll. So yeah, kind of an interesting, maybe Lena, maybe people like Lena. You could toss a coin. Listen, if it gets made into a TV show, the truth is I'm going to have literally this much sway on who gets cast as anything. Every once in a while, I will get emails from people that say, hey, if you ever turn your Demon series into a movie, can I play Harper or something? And I'm always like, a lot of times that is coming from younger teens, but I'm like, man, first of all, if it ever gets made, I will be jumping up and down from, the mountaintops. But second of all, if that movie or TV series ever gets made, I will not probably get any type of feedback or be able to give any feedback for what these characters are going to be cast as. There will be other people that will be in charge of that will be getting paid lots of money to decide who plays these things, and it will have nothing to do with me, most likely. But we'll see. So that is Blythe. So now let's get into some of obviously the last few main characters. So Great Uncle Martin Thorne. These were all suggestions in the group, and I thought all of them were pretty good. So Gary Oldman, maybe. I feel like Gary Oldman is a cool guy, but I feel like Uncle Martin has to be more eclectic. But I don't know. If you look up pictures of Gary Oldman, you can see he can change, much like most actors or whatever, they can change their look greatly. So like maybe you could get it to work, maybe you couldn't. I don't know. It's kind of Interesting. Shauna says, I was thinking Allison Hannigan. For who? Not for Uncle Martin, right? Gosh, so Tim McGraw, like the country singer. That's so funny. Dennis Kleinsmith. What is he from, Teutonics? I don't know Dennis Kleinsmith. I'm going to have to look that up. Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, I mean, Anthony Hopkins, you feel like he could pull anything off. But I will say, another thing about Martin Thorne is he has to be tall and thin. And I feel like Anthony Hopkins is never going to be tall and thin again. Ian McKellen, maybe. He'd need hair, right? Isn't he the guy that plays, whatchamacallit? Clint Eastwood. George, come on now. Anthony Stewart Head. I'm going to have to write that down and look up who that is. So, of course, when Lenny first knows that she's going to live with her great uncle Martin, she has known him as kind of like the creepy guy, right? So he's tall, thin frame, and almost translucent skin. He's got a bony hand with blue veins pulsing underneath. You know, he's tall, he's lanky, he has really like pale skin. I don't know. Well, Giles, yeah, I mean, I definitely would say Giles for sure then, you guys. Like, that's definitely a good choice. I don't know what he looks like now, but I will say that when I was first coming up with this series, I definitely saw the Martin Lenny connection being very much like Giles. So I thought it was kind of interesting that people kind of picked up on that. But another suggestion was Michael Caine. I don't think this is a bad suggestion either. I think this is a pretty good suggestion. Now, he, again, is somebody who can look too old. He can also put on a little bit too much weight. Yeah. So it's like, he would have to lose a bunch of weight. Maybe a younger Michael Caine, but maybe he's past the chance of when he could actually get this role out. Yay, Renee. Good job. Yeah. I think that he could work, but I think it would be like a 10-year ago Michael Caine. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It could work. So Kristen likes this one. Yeah. Michael Caine. So you could see it. And the third suggestion that I got from him, which I think is a really good one, is Jeremy Irons. And I saw some people already putting it in the comments. Yeah, so if somebody has an accent, they would definitely have to change it. So yeah, so Jay Brown says Giles is Anthony Stewart Head. So I think that would work too. I didn't see that suggestion. I don't know why I didn't put it out there, but I think that could work. Sam Elliott, Nakia said Sam Elliott. You know, when I was looking up pictures and trying to think through, I thought, you know, Sam Elliott could work too. Yeah, I don't know. So Jeremy Irons, this is a younger picture of Jeremy Irons. So again, you know, some of these actors and actresses, you'll see when we get to Kai that my pick for Kai is not someone that could work. It would have to be a younger version of them. So, you know, it has to go. So these are my suggestions. David Thulis Lupin from Harry Potter. Oh yeah, he could actually work too. Seesaw for it. Yeah. True. Sam Elliott. Some people already have theirs. Yeah, I think there's some good choices here. So I don't know. Some interesting things here. All right. So now we move on to Kai. So someone suggested, I think this is kind of funny because we all know Christabel. She is the moderator for the Sarah Cannon's Coven, and she is pretty much obsessed with all of the Cassandra Clare books. So it's like she sees this and she's like, nope. Because I think if I'm right, you guys, this is the guy, Matthew Daddario. He plays Alec. He's in the So he's in the Cassandra Clare, what's that called? Shadowhunters series. So if you see him as that character, you could never see him in this other way. So it's like, I thought it was funny and I had to bring it up because I was like, I know that we have several people in our coven and in our community that love all of the Cassandra Clare books, like to an obsession. And so when several people, we probably had 4 or 5 people across different social media that thought this guy would make a good Kai, but it's like, he can't be Kai because he belongs to another author. But I thought I would mention it. I have not seen Shadowhunters, and I actually haven't read the Cassandra Clare books. Is Mortal Instruments is the first one, I think, in that series, and it's probably like a year after that book came out. I tried to get into it, and I just could never get into it. And I've had so many people tell me, you've got to go back and get into those books because they're just the best. Kara says he's too old. So, again, is he too old? I don't know, because he plays a character that is about the same age. And we always kind of joke because, you've got characters like, I don't know, Matthew Perry or who, it's like you always have had 90210, all of these different ones where you've got 20 and 30-year-old people playing 18-year-old kids. And that's just the way it is always. So we see. Now, somebody else suggested Cole Sprouse, and I had to put this one up here, but my immediate reaction for Cole Sprouse is absolutely not. Like, let's go to the description. Okay, so when you first see Kai, what I say is he was tall, over 6 feet if I had to guess. His dark hair was just long enough to fall across his forehead, but not so long that it covered his dark, serious eyes. His tanned skin practically glowed with the health of immortality, even under the crappy fluorescent lights. He was strong, too, judging by the muscles that strained against the sleeves of his gray t-shirt. So I think Cole Sprouse is a good-looking kid, but I don't feel like he could pull Kai. He's too skinny. Yeah, so this is another Riverdale character. Rivervale is a zone in EQ2, you guys. That's why I was like, what is going on with me saying Rivervale? That's the game that George and I met in. So yeah, I think, he's Jughead in Riverdale. And I have seen some of that, like first half of the season. And I don't think that he's like a big enough guy, but I do like him. All right. How do you say this guy's name? Noah Centineo? I don't know how you say his name, and I'm not sure exactly what he's from. He's dating Lily Reinhart. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. So Noah, however you say his name. I picked 2 very different pictures of him because one, he looks like he's mad, and the other one, he can't stop smiling. And when you look up pictures of this actor, this was just another suggestion from the group. He was in The Fosters. Okay. So I mean, I don't know. I think that if you put him somewhere in between these 2 looks of the like mad or don't give a crap look versus the smiley, it's maybe he could be Kai, but I agree with Kristen. I don't see any of these guys really as Kai. And so it's like when I started doing a lot of looks, I'm like, I can't find anybody that looks the way that I see Kai. And somebody asked, like, would he be like a Pacific Islander kind of look because of his mom? So his mother was Hawaiian. His father, we don't really know anything about his father in terms of looks. We just know that he's an angel. So Elizabeth, do you like dark hair? I love dark hair, and I only have a very few, very, very, very rare few heroes in any of my books that are blonde haired men. I don't know why. I want the darker haired guys. I can't help it. So I'm going to give you my suggestion of Kai. I might actually have one more. I can't remember. I'm going to give you my suggestion of Kai, but it's not someone that could actually play him because he's too old. Okay. There's one more before. So someone mentioned Alex Calvert. What is this guy from? Is he from Supernatural? Jennifer, was this your suggestion? I'm thinking maybe this was your suggestion. And I mean, maybe this guy could work too. He might need to beef up a little bit, but he also doesn't have any kind of Hawaiian look. Yes, Gemma, Noah from Death's Awakening is blonde. And to me, I do have an actor for that too. So if you guys are interested in seeing the cast of all of my other series, maybe this would be kind of fun to do. But I mean, this guy maybe I think he's better than some of the others, but I don't think he looks like Hawaiian at all. So I think I wanted a guy that looks more dark, a little bit more dark skinned, a little darker. So Silas has lighter hair. Yes, Jennifer. Silas has a little bit lighter hair. Noah has light hair. If you go into my Fairhope series, I have a couple of different guys, heroes in that are like Colton has blondish hair, Mason has blonde hair, but most of my heroes are darker hair, like Rend, Jackson, Airden. It's just the way it is. Crash. But yeah, Noah is one of my, probably the main character guy of mine that is, that is blonde. Yeah, I don't imagine Kai as a white guy either, as a Caucasian guy. I see him as, for sure, as like a darker skinned guy with dark hair, dark eyes. So it's just a matter of how do you see him? So I will show you my suggestion, although, like I said, it's an impossible suggestion, but a young Jason Momoa. If we could go back in time, how many years? I don't know when these pictures were taken, but if we could go back in time, get in our little time capsule or whatever, this is very similar to how I would see Kai. And I could even see Kai maybe even being a little bit darker skinned than this. And I think that could totally work. So yeah, I definitely see people that love that. So can someone casting, it can't be Jason Momoa because he's too old. But if we could go and find a guy that is similar in aesthetic, this is more along the lines of the skin color, but I see darker eyes on Kai. Let's see. Somebody said Jordan Rodriguez. I'm going to have to look up who that is. Let me know, Lena or Lana, what he's from. Okay, so Taylor Lautner too. I kind of stayed away from him, even though I think he could work too. But Twilight, it's kind of like you can't pull out somebody from Twilight or Shadowhunters or whatever. If somebody is already done, it's like, you can't steal them from another series. It's like somebody said in the group, they were like, oh, Peyton should be Chloe Grace Moretz or something. And I'm like, nope, because she's Harper to me. So you can't pull her out. So yeah, maybe Taylor's too short too. I'm not sure. Kai definitely needs to be tall for sure. Okay, so there's my dream Kai, but he doesn't exist. So we'll have to see. I think it's fun that you guys are coming up with this. And I'm watching comments on my laptop down here, and there's literally 1% remaining. So I'm probably gonna lose that. Renee, that was you. So Chloe's a great suggestion, but you can't have her because she's Harper. All right, so moving on to our main character, Leonora Thorne. These were some really good suggestions, I feel like, from the group. So Maisie Williams, obviously another Game of Thrones character. I think that if she grew her hair out long, because Lenora, the main description that we have of her is that she has long brown hair, and we hear it all the time. Like we hear that she's got her long brown hair down, or it's wavy, or she's got it up, or whatever. We do know her hair is long, but I don't describe her too much other than that. But I think she could work. Someone said Shailene Woodley, so I went looking for a picture of her. Again, you couldn't actually use Shailene Woodley because she's the character from Divergent. So you'd have to find someone similar to Shailene Woodley, because you can't take a Divergent character or like a famous YA character from a book and have her play someone in another character. And Sylvia's right. She's too old. But Shailene Woodley from the Divergent era, what was that, like 8 years ago? She could do it, So one suggestion. Haley Steinfeld. I don't know how old she is either. She might be too old now too, but I think this is a good look for Lenny. I think that this could work. Her long hair, her kind of attitude. Obviously, I don't see Lenny as someone who would wear high heels like this picture. But I think that if you could find a young kind of unknown actress that has a Haley Steinfeld kind of look, I think that she could play Lenny. So Um, Laura, now I'm feeling badly for actors who foolishly accept a role in a series because they apparently can never work again. They can work again. They just can't work again in a similar role, I think. I don't know. But you're right. Yeah, well, she's too posy for Lenny in this exact. Oh, did I freeze? On my screen over here, I'm frozen, so I don't know if I'm actually frozen for you guys or not. Let me know. Oh, it's still going. Okay. Maybe because my laptop is dying, it's frozen. All right. So another suggestion was Renee said Millie Bobby Brown, and a couple of different people suggested her. I think she would be amazing. So obviously, Millie Bobby Brown, if you haven't watched it, is from Stranger Things. And I think she would make a great Lenny. Now, whether or not if Netflix picked this up, would they cast her again as another main character in a young adult kind of series? Who knows? But I think she would really work well. And I picked a picture where you don't really see her straight on, but I do think that she would definitely work. So Millie Bobby Brown. And I think I have one more suggestion. I think there's one more, but that could be the last one. Nope, that's the last one. All right, so that is our casting. I don't know. I think you guys did a pretty good job. I picked kind of some of the ones. I've got it now. Yeah, thank you though. George to the rescue. I picked some of the ones that I thought were some of the best suggestions. And I saw so many of you guys mention in the group and stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, I don't even know who the young actors and actresses are anymore. Because really and truly, if you're looking at casting, because the way it works really is if you've got a series that's just being written right now and you have to wait for it to be like find not even just an agent, but you find an agent, then you find a studio that's going to make it, and then you find they have to cast it. We're currently in a pandemic. They're probably not shooting any TV shows right now, but like all the different things that they have to do to get a show ready. Even if you picked someone right now that you felt like was like borderline, it might not actually come out as a TV series for like 2 or 3 years. And then they have to be young enough that they can continue to play that character for the next several years. So it's kind of like, I feel like a lot of times when you're talking about young adult series, you almost have to go, like you can have inspiration characters, but you almost have to go into like old, young characters that haven't been discovered yet. You kind of have to, it's kind of like if you look at Stranger Things, for example, that's a very young cast. That's more than young adult. That's like middle grade. So if you go into that, or even in Riverdale, like most of those characters were unknown. And when you go into Divergent, most of those characters were unknown and all of that stuff, because if you cast someone in a role right now, by the time it actually got made and went to TV, they would all be too old. And that's kind of the rough thing. And Sylvia, I'm with you. I don't have a clue about the young ones either, other than the ones that are like the kids, or I don't want to say kids, because they are like, they're not even teenagers. Usually they're in their 20s that are in some of the shows that I like to watch. But I'm sad to say that I don't even have time to watch as much TV as I want to right now. We're watching anime. So George and I are watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I'm loving already. But yeah, I mean, the only people that I know that could play teenagers on TV are people that are already currently playing teenagers on TV, right? So it's kind of hard to cast all of them perfectly. But I think that's why we have a lot of suggestions for people like Blythe. And then it's like, oh, could we, blah, blah, blah. Kelsey said there's a post on the Coven. Oh, now that I'm back, I can pull it to the front. There's a post on the Coven where we cast the shadow demons. It would be fun to do it again. Yes, I think that over time there have actually been like 4 or 5 posts that have done that, like casting the shadow demon saga. So I think it might be kind of fun when we do a summer reading after book 11 comes out, before book 12. We're going to do a 16-week event leading up to the final book of the Shadow Demon saga. And part of the fun of that might be each week to pick a character. So like maybe week 1, we go ahead and cast Harper. Week 2, we cast Jackson. Week 3, we cast Marianne, you know, or something like that. So that might be kind of something fun to play around with. Oh, you need mommy time? You know mommy time? Come here, sweet girl. This is my little girl. She got 5 shots today. We were a little bit behind on her immunizations because we kept getting pushed back because of the virus, and they kept saying, no, don't bring her in. And then we're like, okay, she needs to get all these vaccines. So today she had to go and get like 4 vaccines, and then she got the flu shot, and she also got the rotavirus, which is like the one that they drink or whatever. So she maybe feels like a little bit like fevering, but I think she's doing okay. You want to say hi to everybody? Look, there's Evie. There's Evie. What you making that sound for? Evie can play Lenny, but she's going to need a little bit of time. But I do think that it will be fun to do Shadow Demons casting, but instead of maybe doing it all. Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, she's just been super fussy. You just say hi, everybody, and then you guys say goodbye. You guys say goodbye. Okay. She's just going to be super fussy today. Yes, she's still a happy baby, but she's just been a little bit extra fussy, and she hasn't really wanted to nap because she doesn't want us to put her down. So it's a tough time. The shots are hard, but do one for Eternal Sorrows as that is coming out soon. Yeah, that's a good idea. I definitely can see a lot of different people as the characters for that. So I would love to do that. That would be super fun. On Monday, so Sunday, I will have a vlog going up that's like an office tour and clean with me vlog for you guys on Sunday. That will not be live. That'll just be a video that I go up. And then on Monday next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I will be going live again like I did this week for 3 days to read for you my story read. So I'll be reading that next week. I also am writing a brand new prologue for, since I have my laptop here, this is sort of the cover skin for Death's Awakening, which is my first book in my Eternal Sorrow series. I am writing the 3rd book in this series right now. And so there are a lot of main characters. There are a lot of POV characters in that series. So yeah, that would be a fun one maybe to do the week after. I'm writing a brand new prologue for that book that will start the whole series off. So maybe I can read that prologue and then give you guys a casting. So let me know if you guys thought this was fun. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you thought it was fun, because I had fun doing it. Happy birthday, Sandy. I had fun doing it. It's really fun hearing your suggestions because, like I said, if I don't describe them a lot, it's kind of interesting to see kind of where people, where you see which characters you see playing or which actors you see playing which characters. So that was a mouthful and I could not get it out. All right, so let's do a quick giveaway. We're going to do a $25 Amazon gift card and we're going to do a Beautiful Demons paperback. So I'm just going to scroll back and the first names that I see. All right, Jay Prince, you are the winner of the Beautiful Demons paperback. All you have to do is message me at sarra@sarracannon.com. I'm going to put it in the chat. If you message me at sarra@sarracannon.com, then just let me know your mailing address and I will get this sent out to you. Also, there are 4 other winners of the paperbacks from the last couple of weeks. So I will get those all packaged up this weekend and hopefully send those out on Monday. Obviously, if you are not in the United States, it might take a couple weeks to get to you. So just be patient. But if you are here in the United States, hopefully that means you'll have it next week. All right. So what?
Teespring stuff should start coming out. You might be able to wear it by Wednesday of next week.
Oh, sweet. So If you missed it, we do have Serbean t-shirts, hoodies, and all kinds of things that are up on the Serbean website. It should be in the description box down below. So many of you have ordered, and I am just blown away. Thank you so much for ordering. I cannot wait to get our stuff in. Our first thing should arrive early next week. And George said that they've already started shipping some of the merchandise. So you might be able to wear your very own hoodie or t-shirt or Serbean sticker or whatever it is by next Wednesday. Some of the things are going to start arriving. So please tag me on social media if you get yours in. I can't wait to see it. I hope you love them all. I hope the quality ends up being really good. I can't wait to get mine. I got a tank top and a t-shirt and a mug and a sticker. So I'm excited to get mine for sure. So let's see. I'm going to also, before we go, I'm going to give away an Amazon gift card for $25. You can obviously spend it on anything you want. I would encourage you to spend it on books. You don't have to spend it on my books, but there are a lot of authors would love to have you buy their books, but you can also just get whatever pleases you. Grab some tarot cards. All right, let's see. Alexandra Baginski. So let's see if she is still on. Alexandra Baginski. If you can, email me at sarah@sarahcannon.com. And let me know which email address you want me to send the Amazon gift card to, and I will send that to you. All right, you guys, that is it. I am actually going to do a few more giveaway things, but I didn't have time to go through all of the Bellish challenge and some of the other stuff beforehand. So I just didn't get a chance to do all those giveaways because we ended up having a little bit more time with our little baby this morning than we thought we were going to need to. So, oh yay, Alexandra's still here. Congratulations. So Kristen asked, will they ever come in black t-shirts? So they might come in black t-shirts. I think we did do a black hoodie. The problem at first was from the looks of it. They do have black t-shirts as an example, but the writing didn't look right. So we're going to talk to the guy that designed it for us and see if he can give us a different color scheme that will look good on a black t-shirt. So yes, we do hope to have some black t-shirts as well. So we'll have to see. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. Thank you guys for showing up and hanging out with me for another hour this week. I love y'all. I'm having so much fun with this. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for all of your suggestions. If you're not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. And I will see you guys on Monday. So I'll have a vlog out on Sunday that is not live, but then next week we'll go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Carol said, will you do an unboxing on one of the lives next week? Absolutely. If we get our stuff in, I think that because we even got a baby onesie and everything because we wanted to check them all out. So when our stuff comes in, we will do unboxing and it's going to be amazing. I can't wait. It's so fun. And yes, some Shadow Demons Saga t-shirts and stuff is in the works as well. So keep an eye out for that. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Thank you for, hanging out despite the fact that I wasn't sure I was going to be able to figure out this StreamYard thing, but it seemed to work out pretty well. So maybe I'll keep using that. And I love y'all. Have a great weekend. Bye.